The familiar ache in my shoulders had become a constant companion as I hunched over my laptop, squinting at endless rows of numbers. 3 years into my role as senior financial analyst at Mercer & Klein, and I still brought work home most nights. Not because I had to, because I couldn't afford not to. The promotion I'd received last spring came with a substantial raise, one that my husband's family had somehow sensed like sharks detecting blood in water. The extra income disappeared as quickly as it arrived, siphoned away by an endless parade of emergencies that seemed to materialize with suspicious timing. My apartment was quiet except for the tapping of my fingers on the keyboard and the occasional sigh that escaped my lips. James was working late again, so he claimed. I pushed the thought away, focusing instead on the quarterly reports that needed my attention. My phone buzzed against the coffee table, the screen illuminating with my mother-in-law Vivian's name. I hesitated before answering. These calls inevitably ended with my bank account a bit lighter. "Hello?" I said, trying to keep the exhaustion from my voice. No response, just the background noise of what sounded like a gathering glasses clinking, multiple conversations overlapping, music playing softly. A pocket dial, I assumed. I was about to hang up when I heard my name. You should see Olivia's face when we mentioned money troubles. My sister-in-law Natalie's voice came through clearly, followed by unmistakable laughter. It's this mixture of guilt and obligation, like she thinks she owes us something for letting her marry into the family. My breath caught in my throat. I should hang up. I knew I should hang up. Well, she should feel obligated. Vivian's voice now, sharp and entitled. James was the golden boy before he married her. Now he works at that mediocre firm making half what she does. At least he married rich, came a male voice, my father-in-law Gerald, or should I say, married generous. More laughter. I felt my face burning with humiliation. Did you see the car she drives? Still that same Honda from college. Natalie again, her tone dripping with disdain. Meanwhile, she's paying for my grad school without question. And my renovations, Vivian added. She didn't even ask to see the contractor quotes I made up. Made up. The words landed like a physical blow. The kitchen renovation, I'd transferred $22,000 for last month money that could have gone toward the down payment on the house James and I had been saving for 3 years. Let's be honest, James's voice now, slightly slurred but unmistakable. We hit the jackpot with Olivia. She's basically our personal bank. My husband, the man who held me last night as I cried about the pressure, who promised we were building our future together, who swore the money was just temporary help until his family got back on their feet. I almost feel bad, Natalie said, not sounding remotely guilty. But then I remember how she humble brags about being the breadwinner. Like, we get it, you make more than James. She's so desperate to be accepted, Vivian's voice again. It makes her easy to manipulate. Just mention family loyalty and watch her reach for her wallet. The cruel laughter that followed broke something inside me. My hand trembled as I ended the call, setting the phone down with unnatural care. 3 years flashed before my eyes like a cruel slideshow. Natalie's emergency tuition shortfall that somehow coincided with her Cancun vacation photos on Instagram. Gerald's medical bills that never came with documentation. Vivian's roof repair that mysteriously cost exactly what I'd saved for our anniversary trip. And James, the renovations to his studio apartment that he kept for work but I'd never seen. The investment opportunity with his college roommate that needed cash immediately. The debt consolidation that somehow never reduced his credit card balance. I opened a new spreadsheet with mechanical precision, naming it Exit. For the first time in 3 years, I began calculating not how to help my husband's family, but how to help myself. The morning sun filtered through the blinds as I sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by bank statements, credit card bills, and transfer receipts. I'd been up all night, meticulously documenting every dollar I'd given to the Blackwood family over the past 3 years. The total made me physically ill, $143,876. Nearly $150,000 that could have been my house, my retirement, my future handed over to people who laughed about manipulating me behind my back. My phone had been buzzing intermittently since dawn. James, wondering why I hadn't come to bed. I'd told him I needed to finish work. Another lie in a marriage apparently built on them. I wasn't ready to confront him, not until I understood the full scope of the deception. I logged into our joint account, the one where James deposited his modest contribution to our household expenses each month. The transaction history told its own damning story: withdrawals to his personal account that he'd never mentioned, transfers to his mother, cash withdrawals that had no explanation. Next, I checked social media. I hadn't bothered looking at Natalie's Instagram in months, too busy working, too tired to care about her perfectly filtered life. Now I scrolled with purpose, matching dates of her extravagant posts with my financial records. A designer handbag showcased the same day she'd texted about not making rent. A weekend in Nashville when she claimed to be behind on utility bills. Vivian's Facebook was no better check-ins at expensive restaurants, a new car blessed by the universe a week after I'd paid for what she called essential home repairs. My laptop pinged with an email notification. My boss, responding to my late-night message requesting a meeting. Of course, Olivia. Does 10 a.m. work? Everything okay? For the first time in days, I felt a flicker of something beyond betrayal. Something like resolve. Perfect, I replied, and no, but it will be. I arrived home that evening to find James pacing the living room, his expression caught between concern and irritation. Where have you been? He demanded, trying to pull me into an embrace I subtly avoided. I've been calling all day. Work emergency, I said, the lie tasting bitter but necessary. Annual review prep. You know how it gets. His posture relaxed slightly. You should have called. Mom's been trying to reach you to something about the contractor needing more money for materials. Of course. I'll call her tomorrow, I said, moving toward the bedroom. I need a shower. Now might be better, he pressed, following me down the hall. She seemed pretty anxious about it. I turned to face him, studying the man I'd marry. The slight flush in his cheeks wasn't from concern, it was the same look he got when we were running late for dinner reservations, or stuck in traffic before a concert. Impatience, annoyance at an obstacle. I was an obstacle to him getting his mother more money. James, I said carefully, how much does your mother actually need? He shifted, eyes darting away momentarily. Just another $5,000. The contractor found some electrical issues that need to be addressed before they can continue. Interesting, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Because I spoke with Bennett Construction this morning. They have no record of any project at your mother's address. The color drained from his face. You what? I called them. The company whose name is on the invoice Vivian sent me. They've never heard of her. There must be some mistake, he stammered. Maybe Mom got the name wrong. No mistake, James. The invoice was fake. Just like the medical bills from your father. Just like Natalie's tuition emergency, it's all been fake. He stared at me, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Then his expression hardened. You're tracking my family? Checking up on them like some kind of detective? What the hell, Olivia? The audacity nearly took my breath away. Your mother accidentally called me last night during your little family gathering. I heard everything. Recognition dawned in his eyes, followed quickly by something harder to define, not guilt calculation. Liv, whatever you heard was probably just joking around. You know how my family gets when they've had a few drinks. They didn't mean our personal bank. That's what you called me. My voice was steady despite the hurricane of emotions inside me. We hit the jackpot with Olivia. Do you even love me, James? Or was I just an easy target? He reached for me then, his handsome features arranging themselves into the concerned expression I'd once found so endearing. Baby, of course I love you. This is crazy talk. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other, I said, stepping back from his outstretched hands. Family doesn't mock each other behind their backs. Nobody stole anything, he insisted, voice rising. You offered to help. Nobody forced you. Because you lied about what the money was for, I was shouting now, months of exhaustion and years of manipulation finally boiling over. Your mother didn't need a new roof, she was renovating her kitchen for fun. Natalie wasn't struggling with tuition, she was partying in Cancun. And you, my voice broke. What have you been doing with the money, James? The investments? The debt consolidation? His silence was damning. I spoke with my boss today, I continued, when it became clear he had no defense to offer. I'm taking a transfer to the Seattle office. It comes with another promotion. Fear flickered across his face. Seattle? We can't move to Seattle, my family. I'm moving to Seattle, I corrected. You're staying here with your family. I filed for separation this morning. You can't be serious, he whispered, the calculation in his eyes replaced by panic. Olivia, we can work this out. I'll talk to Mom and Natalie will pay you back. It's not about the money anymore, I said, feeling strangely calm now that the words were spoken. It's about respect. It's about trust. It's about building a life with someone who sees me as a partner, not a resource. Where am I supposed to go? He asked, his voice small. I'm sure your mother has room, I replied, walking past him to the bedroom to pack an overnight bag. After all, her house has that brand new kitchen I paid for. The Seattle rain tapped gently against my office window, a soothing rhythm I'd grown to love in the 6 months since my move. My new apartment overlooked the sound, small but perfectly mine, filled with carefully chosen pieces that brought me joy rather than things purchased out of obligation. My phone buzzed with a text from Lauren, a colleague who'd become a friend, confirming our dinner plans. Below it was an unread email from James's lawyer, likely another attempt to claim a portion of my retirement accounts. My attorney would handle it, as she had handled all his increasingly desperate attempts to extract more money from me. My desk phone rang me assistant Michael. Olivia, your 3 o'clock is here, and these just arrived for you. He appeared in my doorway, holding a stunning arrangement of Lily's me favorite. The card read, to celebrating 6 months of freedom, dinner at 7, Lauren, Michael, and the crew. I smiled, running my fingers over the embossed card. My new friends had marked the date in their calendars the day my divorce was finalized, the day I officially began my new life. My laptop pinged with an incoming video call me financial advisor, ready for our quarterly review. On screen was the steady growth of investments I'd started making once I was no longer funding the Blackwood family lifestyle. Beside it, a tracker for the foundation I'd established to help women achieve financial independence after divorce. Sometimes the greatest act of self-love is simply saying no to those who see you as nothing but what you can give them, and sometimes the family you choose builds you up instead of bleeding you dry. As I closed my laptop that evening, preparing to meet my friends, I caught my reflection in the window, shoulders straight, eyes clear, face relaxed in a way it hadn't been for years. The woman who stared back at me wasn't a victim or an ATM. She was simply Olivia, finally free, finally herself, and finally home.